Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Matthew Schwab, and it is my pleasure to be presenting on behalf of Stallion Uranium today. I'm going to jump straight ahead to why uranium. For those of you who are unaware, there is a drastically growing demand for uranium in the world today. There are currently 440 reactors operating globally. On top of that, there are 65 currently in construction and another 430 that have been planned or are proposed. Due to that, we expect the demand for uranium to more than double in the next 20 years, in contrast to an ever-dropping production and supply curve. So how do we fix that? Well, we look at areas like the Athabasca Basin. The basin in northern Saskatchewan is the most prolific high-grade uranium district in the world. Canada currently accounts for 15% of the global production for world supply. And typically, the deposits in the Athabasca Basin are 20 times higher grade than deposits in other jurisdictions around the world. But how do we capitalize on that? Simple. We bring in a team who's done this before. So the technical team at Stallion Uranium is essentially myself and our VP Exploration, Darren Slagowski. We both cut our teeth in the Athabasca Basin, and since 2014 have been involved in 3 high-grade uranium discoveries, including Arrow, Spitfire, and Gemini. On top of that, our head of IR, Knox Henderson, has spent over 20 years in the capital markets arena and has been very successful in continuing to raise money for companies like ours to progress successfully and move forward. Stephen Stanley on our board of advisors. He was the president and CEO of Hathor Exploration, which sold to Rio Tinto back in 2012 for $654 million. Beyond that, we have a very supportive team with our CFO, corporate secretary, and of course our board of directors, which includes Terry Ann Walicki, Drew Zimmerman, and Jay Martin, the CEO of Cambridge House, and of course the host here at VRIC. So where do we apply that expertise? Currently, our land package in the southwest Athabasca Basin is over 3,000 square kilometers. It's a very unexplored and high potential area. This has been overlooked in the past by previous producers and explorers, but we see potential to continue to build more value. If you look back at the past 15 years, you see examples such as NextGen, Fission, and F3 who continue to make discoveries along that trend, and we see potential to keep doing the same thing as they and we have done before. We really want to bridge that gap and fill the point between the deep deposits and the shallow ones that have been made in that area, and we do see the potential. Arrow is the perfect example as it covers pretty much the entire spectrum from surface to the depth of Centennial. Stallion's priority exploration targets, we currently have 19 drill targets ready on that land package. 9 of them we consider to be Tier 1 targets. These have been developed through a proven exploration model that has been tested and tried time and time again. And right now we have 3 that are of higher interest to us, which we plan to keep moving forward with and exploring in the next few months, and hope to be moving forward into drilling ideally in the second half of this year. So people often ask, how do we make these discoveries? And not to oversimplify it, but it is a tried and true, efficient and effective process. We start at a macro to micro scale. We start with regional geophysics, move into detailed geophysics, and continually de-risk the project and the targets as we go through that process. On top of that, we like to use a ranking system which considers 12 different criteria to come to whether it's a Tier 1, Tier 2, or Tier 3 target. You can see the criteria on the left-hand side there, but really the whole idea is as we go through this process, we de-risk so that we know we're spending our money in the most efficient manner and in the best place. Going through that process, we've come up, as I said, with 3 priority areas that we're going to be moving forward with in the first part of 2025 here. So Fishhook is the first one. This is a very interesting target with over 18 kilometers of conductive trend. It's just to the west of the Cameco's Centennial deposit. South of the property, we do see a historical showing, the Fishhook occurrence, which came back at 0.139% U3O8, close to surface. And we are planning to do a stepwise moving loop survey on this property across the target, starting off in January of this year, to better define the orientation and depth of the conductor so that we can more efficiently target the drill holes as we move forward into the second half of this year. Looking at the second of those targets is the Coyote target. Again, very strong conductive package with strong structural complexity throughout it. This one also has a historical showing 12 kilometers to the south along the same conductive trend. This one is very exciting, and we plan to move forward with a gravity survey to pick out potential sandstone alteration and again further enhance our drill targeting as we move into the second half of the year. Another highlight of this one is it's only 450 meters to the unconformity, so much shallower than the targets that have been explored in the area in the past. Looking at the Lynx target, this one also has a 13-kilometer trend of conductivity, strong structural complexity. It's entirely untested by drilling, and we plan to do a stepwise moving loop on this as well to again define the features of the conductor on this target and better plan our drill targeting moving forward. I like to point out, just highlight some of the other peers and the uranium companies in the industry, and it's important because I always get the question now, I've only been the CEO for a month and a half, but why is your share price so low at the moment? Well, it is, but there's a lot of potential to be made based on that. If you remember back to February of 2014 when we discovered the Arrow deposit, they were only trading at 40 cents. And they had no reserves, they had no discoveries, and now they trade at a $5.6 billion market cap. So there's a lot of room to move. We have an amazing land package, high potential, underexplored, and the right team to put things in place. Just to look at our capital structure, it's rather clean right now with 150 million shares outstanding, fully diluted 179 million shares. 36 million of those are held by management and insiders, and we trade at a $4.5 million market cap right now. On the right-hand side, I like to point out that the top is the trend of our share price, the bottom is the trend of the uranium spot price. The reason I point that out is because juniors or majors and intermediates are not nearly as affected by the spot price as a company in the stage that we're at. But you can see the direct correlation across that line as the commodity price goes up and down. We're directly affected. So moving into 2025, as we all expect the commodity price to rebound, I think there's a lot of potential for us to move forward with both the recovering spot price, the exploration work that we're doing, and the high potential for discovery that we have at the company. So really to put all of it into summary, there are three things that really make up the components of success for our company. It comes down to the successful team that we have in place that's highly motivated, that has done this before with the strong backing that we have from our board and other parts of industry. The focus on uranium as our commodity of interest, with the interest out there right now for the commodity, and the fact that we're in the highest grade jurisdiction in the world. And the fact that we have one of the largest and most underexplored land packages in a very prolific area. Our plans for 2025 are pretty straightforward. As I said, we're going to do continued geophysical work and target refinement on those three highest priority targets, beginning in January of this year, so you should see some news flow coming out very quickly. We're going to follow that up with advanced geophysical work on 7 more high priority targets moving into the Q2 of this year. And then ideally, again, a mobilization of a drilling program in the second half of 2025. On top of that, we never stop evaluating new opportunities to leverage or refine our land package and bring new valuation to our shareholders at the company. So I was a little bit quick on that one. I've got 2 minutes left, but if anyone has any questions, please feel free to drop by booth 523, and our team would be happy to answer them. Thank you very much.